Well, folks, here we are. Thank you for joining us. We are happy to announce today
Geeked.
that excited that we are joined by former Chiefs tight end, Eastern Kentucky Football Hall of Famer. He is the current co-host of the Chiefs Concerned podcast and the director of the Dunn for Kids sports charity in Kansas City, along with the Greater Kansas City Foundation, the one and only Jason Dunn.
What's
Jason,
up, fella?
thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, man. This is gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time. Appreciate the warm introduction. That's always good to hear.
Did a little bit of research.
Yeah, good. Research is good. So it's crazy, man. Just saying that. So I don't know if y'all heard this or not. I know off topic, but this whole like AI, like people are being scared by the AI stuff. You know, like they're getting their likeness with their voices and all that. I heard that today. I thought this just crazy when you said that. Just introduced me. Like, man, there might be somebody out AI looking like me. So this is not an AI. This is Jason Dunn for real.
I was about to say, man, can you confirm that you?
Oh no, the AIs get wild out there.
I, for one, am super excited to have you on the podcast. If you can't see behind me, I've got a signed Will Shields jersey back there. I grew up on that era of Chiefs football. You played with some great names, but I loved you as a tight end. Always got hyped when you scored a touchdown because I'm always about, the backup, the underdog, kind of the little man. For example, Jody Fortson today is one of our favorite players. We love the guys that are deeper on the depth chart that get to their time to shine. So right. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you on the podcast right now. I'm just kind of starstruck. So
thank you, man. Thank you for saying that. I never really looked at myself as an underdog. I was, very integral part of what we did offensively.
Oh, absolutely.
It was almost like an offensive line. Offensive linemen don't really get a whole lot of, a lot of juice. They don't get a lot of pub. And so me catching a touchdown every once in a while, it was always a glorious thing. So you weren't the only one celebrating getting a touchdown. I was
hyped.
Yeah, man. Tell me, hey, look, every chance I got, I go and try to spike the air out of the ball. Yeah. You see my little monster spike, did a little video of it and stuff like that, man. But getting into the end zone is one thing that is a beautiful, beautiful feeling, especially at Arrowhead. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where do you rank that as like one of your top feelings in life? Scoring a touchdown in Arrowhead.
Oh man, top feelings in life? If I had to put a number on it, I don't know, man. I had to say probably top 5, top 10, obviously. Just for the simple fact, man, it's like it's first off, just catching the touchdown. Then when you turn around and everybody's just looking at you like, yeah, like you can't help but feel the energy, right? And you're just going through you, and you're just trying to give the crowd everything that they want, man. And you could just tell they celebrate with you, and that's just such a wonderful, wonderful feeling, man. But yeah, I had to say maybe top 5 Arrowhead. I was talking to a guy today who said, man, I just want to be in Arrowhead one time, just once. I want to be in Arrowhead and go to a game. And I live in Kentucky. I don't know if y'all know us, but that's where I live. I live in Kentucky. And so, he was a guy that was, he just got finished doing my trimmer. And I was just like, yo, man, I said, Arrowhead is something that you have to experience at least one time, at least once. I said, man, if you want to, I said, man, get a hold of me. I said, we'll go out to Arrowhead together. I'm just telling, like, you have to, at one time in your life, go experience Arrowhead. And he was just like, I got to. That's my one thing I want to do. I said, yeah, man, go do it. Go do it.
It's bucket list for some people, man.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think sometimes, like, I don't realize, I've talked to other people that are Chiefs fans, and it sometimes doesn't register that some people haven't been to Arrowhead. Like, they're just Chiefs fans. They've just grown up Chiefs fans watching the game and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you never been to? They're like, no, it's like my first time where I'm planning on going. And I'm just like, wow, that's true dedication. That's really like, faithful fans, doing things like that, being away and, you've seen a team. But it's like, yeah, try to get to Mecca, man. Like that's, like that's the spot that you want to go to get to the barbecue and all of that. Now, have all y'all guys, y'all live in Kansas City? I don't know, man. So what about y'all guys? Where y'all at? Y'all mind me asking?
Been in Kansas City all my life.
Okay. All right.
He's a season ticket holder. I'm from about an hour away, but I live in Kansas City now.
Okay.
I'm about 2 hours away from Kansas City, but I've been to multiple games, so definitely
yeah.
been to Arrowhead. Have to.
Oh yeah. See, so y'all already know what it's like, man. Y'all already know what it's
like no other.
No, it's not. It isn't, man. I tell people all the time, man. It's just all the places I've been to, all the teams that I've been and played against. Arrowhead to me has to be the top stadium in the NFL for what it gives you. I mean, really. I mean, I've been to Green Bay. Everybody talks about Green Bay and the history, and you feel that. You feel all of those things. But just something like with Arrowhead, when you come into the stadium, just the home of the Chiefs, in the, when you're singing the national anthem, the flyover, man, the barbecue, the smoke, and oh man, it's just the whole ambiance, man, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So
would you say the environment of Arrowhead today is comparable to when you were a player, or has it just, I mean, obviously we've been there as fans, but as a player, would you say that it has gone up notches because of where the team is today, and maybe what those differences might be if there are any?
it's hard to say. But I would say, man, we had a great following then. I mean, you've always had, I mean, Arrowhead has always had wonderful fans. It's always been packed. And so what I see now today, obviously, is, it's a little bit more the younger crowd, just kind of, and they don't really know the history as much, right? They're just kind of coming in, you got the Mahomes jersey and stuff. But when you talk to like diehard fans, like you were saying, like, Will Shield, seeing those guys, I mean, that's hard-nosed fans has been doing it for a long time, going through the highs and the lows of things. But the atmosphere, man, to me is still electric. It really is. But man, the way that they've been winning, I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, obviously it's a notch higher than where we were playing, no doubt. But I don't know, man. You can't take it away from the fans, man. It's always been loyal, always.
Back in your time, who was your favorite teammate?
Oh, my favorite teammate? Oh man, shoot. I mean, I had so many of them. Obviously, me and Tony were tight. Shoot, Billy Baber, T. Rich.
Rich.
Yeah, T. Rich. Man.
Fan favorite, one of my favorites. Love Tony Richardson.
Yeah. So I don't know. Greg Wesley, shoot, Willie Rofe, Wilborn, Turley. I mean, I had like a lot of guys, man. Tight ends. That's a good thing about tight ends. Tight ends, we with everybody. We are, seriously, we are. We kind of train. Usually some groups kind of stick together, but tight ends, man, we tight with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we do it all. So that's how it is.
And you got to be pretty close with your tackles because you're lining up right next to them half the time, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So all the linemen was always good with those dudes, man. We just had Jordan Black on our show last night. Did a great job. First time I seen Jordan in like, man, 15 years maybe, almost. So that, just seeing guys that you haven't seen in a long time, man, it's just such a great feeling. Just kind of hits you, man. So that's what I say. When you say favorite teammate, my guys that are obviously tight ends, because we hung out and did everything together. We did, that's how it was.
So being a tight end, how do you think the game has evolved around tight ends more being used now, and how their tight ends are being broadcast more, as in Tight End University with Kelsey and Kittle and all them?
Well, I'll tell you what, the way it's being broadcast now should have been done a long time ago, to be honest with you. I'm so glad, man, Kittle and Trav, man, they just put it on his shoulders, really, because that was just like, listen, you talking about premier guys who are, I mean, staples in the NFL. really are like the faces of the NFL, the stars. They needed to have a coalition with tight ends. They needed to. And so a lot of it has to go into, like, when we talk about the negotiating contracts with tight ends. I just feel like, at the time, tight ends wouldn't necessarily be appreciated. But if you have somebody like Travis who was catching balls like wide receivers and putting numbers up like that, he's the most dynamic player at that position, not and really in the league, to be honest with you. So that's the thing that those guys. I'm glad they got that together, and because of the change in what the tight end position has been, where you're not as attached to the tackle as as you usually used to be, like when I was at the time. These guys, man, they just they're out there roaming around and they're out there getting open, and it's a matchup. It is a matchup nightmare for safeties, linebackers, corners, even. And so you just see these guys, man, who are just big, athletic, fast, savvy. I mean, these guys are doing it all, man. So I love it. I love what they're doing with the tight ends. I wish they was doing it back then when I was playing.
Hell yeah. And they're certainly forcing the issue now because there's electric plays coming from a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sticking on the tight end subject here, did a little bit of research. In 2012, Bleacher Report, now I don't agree with everything Bleacher Report has to say, come out with some questionable articles here and there, but they ranked you in 2012 as the 4th best tight end in Chiefs history. You played alongside Tony Gonzalez.
Yep.
We've obviously added Travis Kelce, who's probably going to end up in Canton at some point. But where do you see yourself as it relates to the legacy of tight ends in Kansas City?
You know what, man? I leave it up to the fans and the people making that decision. I look at it like this. Sometimes things get skewed because I didn't catch a whole lot of balls, right? I think that's what that's how they at least try to rank people off of how many balls and stuff you call. But me being a paramount part of what we did offensively, I think warrants that conversation. And so forth to me is, man, look, I'm grateful for that. I'm just gracious to know that I'm one of the top 5 tight ends all time. And I'm, that's when I tell people that, they're like, really? I say, yeah, but shoot, I had, 1,000-yard rushers around me. I'm thing I was doing was locking defensive ends down. Like, so I tell people all the time, like, I was part of 75% of our offensive plays we were doing was 2 tight end sets. I was in there. If you see Priest Holmes scoring, it was more likely JD was holding him up, right? Or Larry. Man. And that's what it was. It wasn't like I was running off the sideline and coming in and lifting him up. Now I'm getting Priest in his zone.
Hey, chalk it up to nervousness. It didn't necessarily mean to call you an underdog earlier because I do love you and appreciate you as a player.
I know you ain't cut my legs out from underneath. I just sometimes when people say, oh, back up this and that, look, I was like a 1A, 1B, because if I was anywhere else, I'm starting. And that's how I was like free agency when I was going places. It was as a starter. So, we just happen to have the most dynamic tight end in the history of the game, in Tony Gonzalez, doing his thing. So, and rightfully so. But yeah, I got my shine. I was look, often they knew very well what I was able to do and what I did. And if you was ever in that era coming watching the games, you without a doubt seen 89 out there bulldozing some people out, man. So
absolutely. I got a good
boys
follow-up for that.
They don't get the rushing yards without you in there. There's a good offensive line there, don't get me wrong, but without you, it doesn't happen. Without you, Tony G isn't out there being able to get the releases and make the catches. So like you are easily cemented in that top 4.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah. But Vermeil, look, I try to be modest too. Vermeil's like, look, JD, like all those balls he was catching and stuff, it wouldn't have happened without you. I said, yeah, coach, I appreciate it. He said, no, listen, I'm telling you the truth. Without you, it wouldn't have happened. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks, coach. I appreciate it.
As Hall of Fame level coach telling you that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But on the topic of that rushing attack, I got a good follow-up for that. as of 2016, a guy named Elliot Harrison at NFL Network talked about how Priest Holmes had the most productive 3-year span of any running back in NFL history. Over 6,500 yards, 61 touchdowns, known as a blocking tight end with us. Mm-hmm. What was it like to be a part of that rushing attack, and what made it so special?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, just being part of that offense, the running attack, we took pride in it. We really did. And so when you have a guy like Priest who's running the football, finding his pulse, how he runs, and how he looks for lanes and whatnot, he made it really easy because he's a hard worker. That's another thing, man. Priest ran hard. He ran hard. He's a hard runner. Don't bring Priest down easy. Just don't. And so I think Priest was one of those guys, like, kind of unsung heroes that I think if you look at his, his history, you look at his resume, it warrants a look into the Hall of Fame. It does. I don't think people, when you talk about it, some of the people that see him, man, Priest, without a doubt, should be in a conversation getting in. And we got LaDainian Thomas in. I'm like, yo, then Priest absolutely should be in. And so, like you said, that 3-year span, man, I'm talking about special. Absolutely.
Chiefs fans believe you, but people outside of Kansas City don't give him the credit, man.
I know it. And I think sometimes when you take back, yeah, we had some great guys. Like obviously, we had 3 Hall of Famers, with Willie, Will Shields, and obviously, Tony. But the thing is, man, Priest, he was doing a lot of the stuff, man. He get in the secondary, he was making guys miss, and so he make our job a lot easier. And things we wasn't getting right, Priest will get right. He make us be right with his running style. And so just giving Priest his flowers, man. That's without a doubt. When I'm telling you, top-notch running back with vision, with speed. Man,
just a stiff arm.
Stiff arm, man. I mean, Priest was just so clean as a running back. I mean, anybody would love to have a back like that in your backfield, because he'd get at the tough yards. He ain't running out of bounds. He's not one of those guys. He ain't running out of bounds. And so you had to get 3 or 4 guys to tackle Priest. That's how it worked. So now I was really fortunate to be a part of that offense and really be fortunate to watch Priest score a lot of touchdowns from that. So I don't know how many.
How many? He had 27. The record breaking year.
Yes, 27.
27. And in that NFL Network video, when he breaks the record, you're holding him up in the end zone. Really? When he breaks that record in Arrowhead, you lift him up. Yeah, bro. That almost brought tears to my eyes when I rewatched it, man, because I can feel it. I can feel the crowd yelling. Like, it's just the commentators say, look for Priest here because he's about to break that record. So
yeah. I've been so much like holding him up. I had no idea that was about that one too. But like I said, man, he get in the end zone, man. I was right there beside him. I'm usually, hey, Priest, I'm gonna get you in. You tell me, yeah, JD, I'm coming your way. All right, I got you. I'm gonna get you in, baby. So, yeah, man. That 3-year span. Oh man, I don't think. I mean, you could put that up against a lot of backs, a lot of them, and just watch the film. Really, that's what you need to just watch the film and watch how I used to run. So, phenomenal player. Phenomenal.
The NFL is clearly in a different space today than it was back in your day, where it was hard nose, run the ball, 2 tight end setups, at least one of them blocking. Yeah. I don't want you to be humble right now. I want to know, is Jason Dunn, how good is Jason Dunn in today's NFL? Are you better than Travis Kelce? Where are you at? We saw in your rookie year that you can go out when you get the snaps and you get the targets, you could produce. What are you doing today?
I mean, shoot, still, if in this NFL, I mean, I'm still blocking jokers up, man. There's not a guy that I've come up against that I couldn't say I couldn't block or put my meat hooks. This is what I call my meat hooks on, and get it done. I mean, that's just my mentality. I always said this. I said, if you put me and somebody else in a phone booth, I'm gonna guarantee I'm gonna come out every time. That's the way that's the way it's got to be. That's the way it has to be. And so when I look at some of the defensive ends that that of today, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, this joker right here, I could have folded up plenty of times. So
JJ Watt doesn't stand a chance.
no, hey,
Hell no.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, man,
Tell
listen,
him.
look, hey, I'm gonna tell you, this is what I had my rookie year. This is when I was in Philly. My rookie year, I'm telling you, I played against some of the best. I'm talking about Reggie White. I'm talking about Kevin Green, Michael Strahan, Charles Haley, Charles Mann, Bruce Smith, the whole Bills defense. I mean, you name it. I mean, I could keep going. Chris Dolman. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, I just on and on. Julius Peppers. I mean, over the years, man. I mean, these are guys that I'm blocking against, right? And so we had to go say that, even the San Diego defense with Merriman and Phillips, Big Willie McGinnis, all those guys, man. I just, like I said, that's what it was. Obviously the Baltimore defense of the 2000s with Ray and them. Me and Ray came in together, and so it was some. When I'm telling you, some heavy hitters and stuff like that. Like JJ Watt's good, man. But hey, man, look, I know once I get these meat hooks on you, then it's a whole different. You have a whole different problem on your hands.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of another difference between whenever you were playing and today's game, you were very open on Hard Knocks being a distraction for a lot of people playing for the camera. Yeah. Do you think that still affects players as much today with social media and how much they are open for everything, or is it not as much of a distraction?
It is. I think it is. I think it still distracts some guys. I think some guys have kind of gotten used to it because they live their life in the limelight. I think some people that's what they do. Their life is right here on this phone. Like, hey, they're doing everything on it. But at the time, man, it was a distraction. I seen that. It was everybody wanted to be Hollywood. Everybody didn't want to be on camera, and it was just you could see the lack of focus. You just seen that. Now today, you see guys get caught up in social media, fighting with fans and whatnot, man. And that's a hard thing not to do. Is getting caught up in that whole little world. Because somebody says something that would, trigger a guy, get somebody talking, and somebody feels like it's got to be a rebuttal, right? And so sometimes guys pick and choose, they'll go through it, and that's the worst thing. Just go through your Twitter and and listen to the comments and read it, because you have guys that just want to, they want to be trolls, they want to be haters, and you're going to have
Tyreek.
Yeah. Well, but he knows that's good media. He knows it's good. Social media, because he creates controversy. It's always been the same, right? Controversy sells. We know that. Negativity and stuff like that sells. But I always try to at least tell the younger guys, just unplug from the social media. Don't even respond back. Put out a tweet and leave it and just go with it. So it's tough to do sometimes. Well, we've seen like Honey Badger. Like Honey Badger and them going back and forth, man. That was
that was a lot to see.
It was. I'm like, man, look, he's here. We know he's dedicated. There shouldn't be no question about what the Honey Badger is getting and he's bringing to the table defensively. We know that. You know what type of dude he is. And it was just like some people they didn't care. They, it's crazy to me.
Feel that.
That's just social media wanting to tear people down right now, though, and it's terrible for everybody.
Yeah. You just have some people that want a reaction. That's all they want. They want that. So yeah, just don't play into it.
That's my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Switching gears a little bit, you talked a little bit about your time in Philly. So you started in Philly, came to KC, a route that is kind of familiar to us as Chiefs fans. Another guy that's done it's been Andy Reid. It's very special to have him in KC. It's been great to see what he's done. But what do you think Big Red means to football as a whole right now?
Oh man, what does he mean as a whole? When you're talking about just Hall of Fame coaches given to the game, best coaches of all time, and he's in that conversation. What we've seen him do over the last few years since he got to Philly to where he is now is just take team after team to championships, NFC championship games, to the Super Bowls, here to Kansas City and winning them against all the odds of things that's happening off the field and stuff, man. And he's just been laser focused on the things he needs to do and helping guys develop into championship mindsets. That's what Andy does. He gets the best out of his players. And so when you talk about a coach, when you at least you try to measure a coach's success, and it ain't always just wins and losses. It's about what else too did you mean to that guy. And so we know all the guys that's played for Andy, everybody always comes back to talk about like how Andy, man, he changed my life and how he just treats us. And that's what you want. You want a guy who was a player coach, but he also understands like what it means to get the job done. And so he's been a great addition to Kansas City. So thankful that he got here. And just, yes, kind of saying that road, it was almost the same. Like I went from Philly to Kansas City. And another two guys, Sean Barber and John Wellborn. I was trying to remember guys that played in, when we did this whole Super Bowl deal with the Chiefs and the Eagles. I'm like, well, shoot, there's two other guys, because he was talking about it. I was just like, man, he had a couple of guys that taken that route. But Big Red, man, he needs
familiar pipeline. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. But I'm so happy for him, man, with the success that he's been able to achieve out here in Kansas City, man. I'm very, very happy for it. Very happy.
Touching on coaches, entire football career, as young as you may have started through NFL, who's your favorite coach you played for?
Entire coaches. You talking through the NFL?
Like if you started in Little League, college, whatever. Who's your favorite coach you played for?
Oh man, I don't know if I can just say one. I had some really good Pee-wee coaches, in just different sports. Man, I'll name. So I had one. Jerry Caton was a gracious man to me. Passed away a couple of years ago. Had to bring his name up because he supported me all when I was in high school, all during those times. Gary Devine, Albus Johnson, Roy Kidd, go to Philly. We're talking about Ray Rhodes. Then we get into obviously Ted Williams, Juan Castillo, Dick Vermeil, Gunther Cunningham. Gunther was the one that brought me to Kansas City. I thought Gunther was a hell of a coach, a hell of a guy.
That's one of my mom's favorites.
Yeah, man. And I could see why, man. Gunther was just a real dude, a real guy. And I love him for it. I loved him for bringing me to Kansas City, because that would never happen without Gunther. And so those guys, man, all those guys, I try to take just a little bit from each one of those guys. And I got into coaching and, kind of making my own. And I knew what great coaches were and I knew what bad coaches were. So I always wanted to be like all those great coaches I just named. But trying to say a favorite coach, I don't know. So,
it's unfair. It's tough. I understand.
Tough. It's all those good men, very good men, every single one of them.
I want to look a little bit about the present day and where we're at now. We have got what I don't know, all the pundits are calling possibly one of the best rookie tight end classes ever that are coming in. What do you see out of these young guys that are coming in, and what are your thoughts on the makeup of their potential careers?
You said tight ends, or are you talking about just the entire rookie class coming in for the draft?
The tight ends.
Oh, tight ends. Okay. You know what? I think, when you're talking about a legacy cemented for tight ends in the league, I mean, Kansas City is the place. That's the spot you want to be. With names like I said, Tony Gonzalez, obviously, Travis, what he's been able to do. And so you see with Noah Gray, you see it with Jody, what these guys bring to the table. And they're learning from, the great one, Travis Kelce. So a lot of it is rubbing off on them, what he knows, and the amount of knowledge that's being passed, man, is incredible. And I know they're just gracious for that. But these guys, man, when you're talking about these rookie guys that's coming in, these dudes just throughout the entire league, you just see bigger, faster, athletic guys starting to kind of thin out a little bit because a lot of them don't do the inline block. It's just not a high demand anymore. It's just not. And so
there weren't very many of them that could drive the sled in the combine.
No, not very many at all. But I still have a fondness for the guys that I know is going to stick their nose into it. Like my man from Notre Dame, man, he does a tremendous job. And so he's gonna be a good one. He's gonna be a real good one. Kind of watching him. The dude, what's it, Freemite from in Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah.
He's another one. Obviously, Kittle does it. But these guys that came in, you can tell that the athleticism is something that is coveted now. I mean, this is something that teams absolutely want. They want to see a Mark Andrews. They want to see a Travis Kelce. They want to see athletic guys. It's not the big blubbering tight ends anymore, just kind of catching and rumbling and stuff, right? And we need a guy that's going to get yak yards, okay? Go on, shake you up a little bit. Got a little like that, little sweetness in their hips, you know what I'm saying, to get around. And so that's what teams are absolutely looking for, man. So I'm excited. I'm actually excited to see what these guys are going to do, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to talk athleticism. In college, you're supposed to be good. Now I don't want to see what you're going to do in the NFL. Now that's what I want to see, okay? And sometimes what you end up finding out is, guys that you didn't quite think was going to be that guy ends up being that guy, right? Like my man down there in Atlanta, we've been waiting on him to get, it was like, what's going on with him? How come they ain't getting the ball to him, right? He's supposed to be the most athletic tight end in the history of the game, And so I don't know. Maybe this year's his breakout year. I know we're talking about the rookies, but I still want to talk about the tight ends that for the past couple of years it's gotten in. And
I sure hope so, man.
Yeah, hey man, look, I'd love to see it. I love to see it. But it's like one of those things. Like, okay, hey, we'll where's it at? Where's it at? So, but yeah, no, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if there are any tight ends in the league that are doing great things but are going unnoticed by like the normal fan, like somebody that's never played, that doesn't, they just look for the Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce's, like you were talking about. Who are they, and what are those things that are going unnoticed in those nuanced areas?
Man, like I said, sometimes we get so caught up in the numbers that we don't see guys being factors like you expect them to be factors. Like I know we talked about those, but like Goddard, you know what I'm saying, up there in Philly, man. I seen him when Ertz was together. I already knew. I was like, yo, these guys right here, tough. I couldn't, man. Them two together, man, was an absolute problem. So I knew Dallas was going to be who he is right now. I already knew that. You could see it. You could see it in him. And some people, I'm like, look, you better pick him up on your fantasy. TJ is another one. He kind of shocked me a little bit. I'm just like, okay, dang on, TJ, what you been doing?
Where'd this come from?
Right. Big boy. You got Irv Smith. Irv has kind of been hurt here and there. The other big guy, the one that got the man bun, kind of, up there too. Big dude.
Is it Green Bay's tight end?
No. So Green Bay had what's the name? Tanyan, wasn't it?
Bobby Tunyon. Yeah.
I liked him before he got hurt. I thought he was a very talented tight end. But man, what's the name? Schultz was good. Schultz, I thought, was pretty good, man. I don't know why. I mean, it seemed like he always getting open, catching footballs. I just think he don't get his due like he should. The Bills, obviously, man. You had Dawson Knox up there. Yeah, he's got a new guy up there. I'm just like, I thought Dawson was doing a pretty decent job. But hey, that's how it is in the NFL. That's how it is. Hey, that's just how it works. Trying to think who else. Oh man, who doesn't really get their due and talked about. Oh, Gerald Everett.
Hey.
is a baller, straight baller. Everywhere he's been, Gerald Everett has been a baller. And I'm just like, yo, they should be feeding this guy more than what they're doing. I know, he was in Arrowhead and he kind of threw up. He couldn't,
We were happy about that. We were.
I felt so bad for him because I knew his joker was tired. I knew he was tired,
bro.
Hey, just give
Take
me
me
one,
out, coach.
And so now but to me, man, he's another one of those guys, man. And you hear his name every once in a while. To me, he's a steady, consistent guy as far as what he does athletically on the football field. He's one I'd feed to all the time. Try to think
About Isaiah Likely, the backup to Mark Andrews in Baltimore. We had one of his coaches, college coaches, on last year. A fan favorite for all three of us, a guy that we really like. Have you been able to watch him?
No, not as much. I think I kind of seen him, but not too much. I haven't really gotten into like really watching him that much. The whole like Baltimore fiasco, I didn't like it because how they was doing a man out there, Lamar.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Man, y'all do it. Y'all dirty. It's just dirty out there, man.
Likely had a monster game filling in for Andrews being hurt. So we're expecting some great things if and when Baltimore decides to move on from Mark Andrews, but he's gonna be a big name.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember him doing that. So there's some really, really talented tight ends out there right now. My man is, I don't know if he's going to be back or not. Thomas out there in Washington, he was doing a good job. He got hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Thomas,
yeah. So I don't know. We just had to see.
To switch up gears a little bit here, if you could pick any animal to be an NFL player, which animal would you pick?
If I had to pick any animal to be an NFL player, who would I pick? It would be maybe a bear.
What position would they play then?
Oh, you put a bear anywhere on the line.
Not a receiver. Not a receiver.
Not a receiver. No. You put a bear on the line, man. That joker maul you up. He ain't losing that battle.
Well, that begs the question then: a grizzly bear and a gorilla get into a fight, who wins?
Man, I know you're a gorilla, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. The grizzly bear, I don't know. Dude, I see some big Kodaks and we ain't saying polar bear now. That might be a whole different story.
Different story right now, man.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could get into a long spiel, but I am longtime team Silverback. Okay, I think a gorilla could do it.
Me too.
I think a gorilla could do it.
Gorillas, man, but you see them so like docile sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just when them jokers go crazy, everybody, the whole jungle, everybody backs up like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We've got a long time kind of a joke question on the show, but what if you could choose any condiment to shoot out of your finger at any time, like as a superpower, what would you pick?
Any condiment? Oh man, I had two answers. It had to be either hot sauce, good hot sauce, or mustard.
Oh, I like that.
Regular mustard?
Yeah, regular mustard. I think regular mustard goes anything. I like brown mustard too, but I like mustard. I'm a mustard guy. I can almost put mustard on anything pretty much and eat it.
Okay.
You said what you said a good hot sauce. What's the best hot sauce? What's your go-to?
Oh man. It's not the red hot. It's the one, the Texas. What is the Texas one? Texas Pete.
Texas Pete.
Texas Pete's good.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. I don't like the Tabasco. You keep it. I don't know. People say Tabasco is not like hot sauce. It's not regular hot sauce. Tabasco sauce. It's Tabasco.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Keep that Louisiana on deck.
Louisiana. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Louisiana too, for sure. Daggone. Yeah, Texas Pete, Louisiana for sure. Those two. And then, the red hot may come in somewhere, fourth or fifth. But yeah.
My top two are Tapatio and Cholula.
Okay.
Tallulah.
Jalul, my daughter likes Tapatio, and I don't know why. We got a thing of refrigerator, and I look at it every time I went open the refrigerator up. I looked at this like, man, what is like? Why? What is this here for? And she like tacos and different things like that. But she, she loves it. She loves it. So you know what? I'm gonna have to try it. Would you on tacos?
Breakfast. Tacos, breakfast, just straight up on eggs, kind of that whole shebang.
Okay. Now,
Man, AMC movie theaters used to have Tapatio like in the little packets, and I put it all over my popcorn.
really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, see, y'all might have put me up on something. Okay. So I got some in there right now. I'm gonna go try it.
A late night snack.
Yeah, seriously, I am. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, I'll leave you with one final question. I don't need your wife getting mad at us first time on the show. I know you're running short on time, but we got to leave it with this. The schedule has been released. We're the Super Bowl champs. We've got potentially 3 Thursday night football games this year with a Germany game as well. How are the Kansas City Chiefs faring in 2023?
Ooh, okay. It's a good question. So let me do this because I'm gonna go look at the schedule. All right. Check this thing out.
And so we start off on Thursday. That's week 1. That's the season opener that we all know. You can get flexed into a second Thursday night game, so that could leave the Chiefs being the first ever to have 3 Thursday night football games in a season.
Yeah. Which they should. Think that, heck. And the time is, I hope it went back to back because I think it was one of the things, right? They was just like, well, we couldn't do like one of the flex and do it back to back. That'd be wrong. That would be absolutely wrong. So I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm just, team lucks up. It always happens. Somebody, I'm gonna say 14-3.
I like that.
Or 15-2.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Got to have a little bit of margin of error there.
Yeah, right. It may the last one, you try to rest some guys up, just like, okay, if the Chargers beat us, yeah, maybe whatever. But I'm looking on the Detroit win, Jacksonville win, Chicago. I could say win on all of these, really, to be honest with you. Philly gonna be tough. Buffalo's gonna be tough. Obviously, Cincinnati and Chargers tough. But other than that, everybody, I think we should handily beat them. Team might luck out at the very end and kick a 52-yard or something, right? And just, okay, that's, But I think, 14-3, 15-2 is definitely doable. No doubt.
I like that. Well, we thank you for your time. On the way out of here, JD, tell the people where they can find you and talk a little bit about your foundation, Done for Kids, for us on your way out.
Okay. Before I do that, I want to ask you all a question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. What do y'all think about the opener? Do y'all like it or y'all hate it? Y'all love it?
I love it. I absolutely love this matchup.
Really? Okay.
The up-and-coming Lions. The Lions have not been in Arrowhead in 20-plus years. It's going to be a fantastic show, and I'm excited to see what we can do with that matchup right there.
Okay.
I personally like the matchup. I like Detroit. I don't understand the NFL doing it for marketability. I think you get more viewership with a different matchup. But personally, I'm a big fan of Dan Campbell and what they're building up there. So I see both sides.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that the NFL's almost banking or hoping for the Chiefs to kind of take the Lions lightly. If you start off the season with an upset like that, it's going to be what they talk about for most of the season. An up and coming team like the Lions beats the Super Bowl champs. You got a story there.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a change of pace from what the NFL's done normally on the kickoff day. You usually have perennial contenders almost sometimes it's a Super Bowl rematch. It's a little bit different. I kind of see the marketing ploy. I don't think it would have been my choice.
Okay. All right. Honest man. Okay. Very fair answers. I wasn't really a fan of it. I thought I like Detroit. I like what they're doing. I think they're ascending, to be a better team. But I wanted that perennial matchup, like you said. I wanted to see either the Eagles or the Bengals or somebody of that nature. I said, can you imagine having Philly and Super Bowl all over again, and you get the rings in front of them, and it's just
raising that banner right there.
Right there. I mean, that would have been the greatest opening day ever. Just back-to-back Super Bowl. Now here we go. Are you defending it right now? First game of this. Here we go. First game. What do you think? Right? And so, I didn't. Detroit was my least favorite. I get it. I'm okay with it. Right? I'm like, all right. But I love to see Dan. I support them guys, what they do up there in Detroit, man. I think they're building something really special, and I'm glad for their success so far. So. No, it's good.
Not week one.
Not week one. It could have been, somewhere else. Let them get a little bit better. Get guys established a little bit more, right? And so that was the thing. But yeah, no, it's good. Well, I tell everybody where you can find me. Pretty much on platform. Chiefs Concerns. We are Apple, Spotify. Obviously, we do the YouTube channel. But Chiefs Concerns, come follow me and Marcus Dash. Have Eric Warfield on at times. Eric has been doing some things, here and there. And we got, former players, coaches, players now that come on the show, and we just talk about it. We just have a good locker room meeting and talking about a lot of different things. And so you get a nice little, I think, mix, get the knowledge and peeling back some of the NFL, what's behind the scenes a little bit, right? And we'll talk about some great memories that we've had in Arrowhead and teams and what guys have done. Some of the little salacious stuff, I guess, maybe get out there somewhat.
That's what the people want.
That's what they want, man. But we won't do too much because we won't get nobody in trouble. So we're just like, okay, all right. We know we got a young crowd as well that watches it. So that's pretty much our platform. My Done For Kids Foundation. It's something I started in Kansas City in 2003, actually, and have been doing it ever since then, and have been ran by the Greater Kansas City Foundation. And I've been one of those that I've been like a spokesperson for the Salvation Army, giving back to mothers and children and families of the needy. And so right now what I've done is I kind of expanded it and get into a little bit more motivational speaking, talking to teams and talking to, young guys and young girls, just kind of helping them navigate life, being a young person. It doesn't matter if you with sports, whatever it may be. But one of the things that we try to do is at least have them use us as a resource to help them get to where they need to get to. And so if we're there to help you get to where you want to get to, and if you need our help, we're here for you. And even if you don't ask for it, we're going to be there for you anyway. And so that's what we do with the Done For Kids Foundation, and just helping, like I said, needy families and kids, scholarships, monies, and different things of that nature. So we've helped out some of the flood victims, people in the tornadoes and things like that. So we do a little bit of everything. But our whole thing is about service. It's about service to, your fellow man. And so that's what we do. And that's what we believe deeply in our heart, to just go out there to love each other and make sure that everybody's in a better place. And what we can do to help you get there, let us be the catalyst for that.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, JD, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really, really appreciate your time. It was amazing getting to sit down with somebody we all got to watch growing up, being a Chiefs legend, man. We just appreciate your time, and we hope that we can do it soon.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, fellas. Like, just the platform, man. Every single one of you guys, man, just thank you. Thank you for being fans, for one, but also two, man, hit me up and let me come on your show. And definitely, y'all let me know again. I'll definitely get back out here, man, and I'll have a little bit more time to kind of get into it.
It's all right.
Yeah. So now where everything's starting to ramp up and guys get into camps and OTAs and all of those different things. We'll have a little bit more to talk about besides like the barbecue and all those different things. So it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yes,
all right, gentlemen. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, man. Catch you later.